The Summer Palace is located in the beautiful northwestern suburb of Beijing, combining the traditional gardening art achievements, taking Kunming Lake and the Longevity Hill as its basis and Hangzhou West Lake as its chief source. Full of Chinese imperial gardening's grand momentum and natural interest. Now the Summer Palace is the largest and best preserved imperial garden in China. The Summer Palace is formerly called Qing Park, which is the palace and garden of emperors in Qing Dynasty, built in 1750. In 1860, the Qing Park was burned down by Anglo-French allied forces. In 1888, Empress Dowager Cixi spent a lot of money in rebuilding Qing Park. 2 years later, Empress Dowager Cixi renamed it to Summer Palace as her rest place when she is old. Since then, Summer Palace has been the most important political and diplomatic activity center outside Forbidden City in late Qing Dynasty. It is the important witness to modern Chinese history, and the place where many important historical events took place. Summer Palace derives architectural techniques of South's gardens, covering an area of 290 acres. The garden has more than 100 scenic spots and 20 yards of different sizes. It is a masterpiece in Chinese landscape design, where pralines, long corridors, palaces and temples, bridges, such artificial landscape merge together with natural mountains and open lake surface. Summer Palace has dual functions of palace and garden, roughly divided into 3 areas: political activity area, living quarters, and garden recreational area. The political activity area is the main place, where Cixi and Guangxu engage in the domestic and foreign political activities. Renshou Palace is formerly called Qingzheng Palace, built in 1750. Burnt down by Anglo-French allied forces in 1860. In 1866, it is renamed to Renshou Palace. Renshou Palace is the place where emperors deal with politics in Qianlong and Guangxu period. The main layout is roughly the same, but items displayed are different. The copper dragon, copper phoenixes, copper tripod displayed in front of Renshou Palace are carved beautifully. It is worth that the display of masquerades, dragon, and phoenix in ancient imperial palaces or gardens should be dragon upon the phoenix or phoenix around the dragon. However, the dragon and the phoenix here are dragon around the phoenix. After the movie Ring Behind the Curtain was put on, dragon around the phoenix is well known. The display of dragon and phoenix behind Renshou Palace just shows this statement. According to the legend, unicorn can avoid fire, meet the faithful and avoid evil spirits. It is an auspicious beast and always used to guard the entrance to show auspiciousness and majesty. In 1898, Emperor Guangxu met the leader of reformists Kang Youwei. Thus the reform began. Dehe stage platform, which is the place for Empress Dowager Cixi to see play, is on the north of Renshou Palace. Dehe stage platform, Qingyi Prelim in Chengde Imperial Summer Resort, and the Changyin Prelim in Forbidden City are called Big Three platforms in Qing Dynasty. To celebrate Cixi's 60th birthday, Yiheyuan was built in 1891 and finished after 5 years. It is composed of Banxi Tower, Daxi Tower, Yiheyuan and Qingshan Hall, and so on. Visitors in the garden can directly feel the scene that Empress Dowager Cixi sees play. Visitors can also see a lot of precious daily living equipment used by Emperor and Queen, as well as the presents that foreign countries gave to Qing royal family. Banxi Tower, built in 1891, is a place of 2 layers. Its north, which is the actors' makeup backstage, is connected to Daxi Tower. Now it has been an exhibition room where there are drama properties, stand chair and carriage Cixi used. A car displayed in exhibition room is regarded as the first imported car in China, and it is offered by the ministers at that time. According to the Qing Dynasty palace records, after the stage platform is built, Empress Dowager Cixi often came here to see play. She even came here for more than 40 times in 1 year. There's a chair especially for Cixi in Yiheyuan opposite to the platform. The display in Yiheyuan is quite luxurious and exquisite. When seeing the play, it's not convenient for Cixi to sit on the bed next to the window in West Hall. Emperor Guangxu sits on the left porch outside the hall, and his concubines sit before the window outside the hall. Qingshan Hall is a place for Cixi to have a rest when she sees play. In 1903, American painter Carl drew a portrait for Empress Dowager Cixi here. The 3-layer platform in the garden is the biggest and best preserved wood platform in China. The whole architecture is majestic with 21 first height, 70 meters wide, second only to the Tower Buddhist instance in Summer Palace. With deft design and grand momentum, it is full of cultural and artistic value. The famous Peking opera artists of Qing Dynasty, Yang Xiaolou, Tan Xinpei, all have performed for Empress Dowager Cixi here. It is known as the cradle of Peking opera here. Now there are occult music performed every day in the stage platform. Architecture and music bring out the best in each other and give domestic and foreign visitors great art enjoyment. The living area, which takes Leshou Hall, Yulan Hall, Yiyun Hall as representative, is the dwelling place of Cixi, Guangxu and his concubines in Summer Palace. Renshou Hall is the center of Outer Palace. However, Leshou Hall is the center of Inner Bedroom, built in 1750 and ruined down in 1860. It became the dwelling place of Empress Dowager Cixi in Summer Palace after rebuilt in 1887. Facing Kunming Lake, leaning against Longevity Hill, east to Renshou Hill, west to Long Corridor, Leshou Hall is the best place for dwelling and amusement. The courtyard displays copper deer, copper crane, and copper vase. Thus the meaning of peace is taken. It also has beautiful flowers such as magnolia, begonia, peony, and so on. Thus the meaning of property is taken. Moreover, there is a huge stone named Qing Rock displayed in the courtyard. It is recorded that this stone is found in Beijing by Miyun, a minister of Ming Dynasty. The type of this stone is dark granodiorite lucid. So Miyun was going to carry it to his house. However, money was not enough in the midway. Thus, he had to put it on the wasteland. Later, Emperor Qianlong spent a lot of money in carrying the stone to the yard. The architecture style of Summer Palace derives the architectural essence of many palaces in China. The east is the typical style of quadrangle courtyard, where the closed yards are connected by corridors. Yongshou Mali is the dwelling place of manager eunuch Li Lianying in the courtyard. It is also built in Emperor Guangxu period and called manager court. According to the principle of Qing Dynasty, the status of eunuch in palace is very low. They cannot live in the principal room. However, Li Lianying not only lived in the principal room, but also owned a big yard. The northern house is Li Lianying's living room, and now it is displayed the same as formerly. The big area composed of long corridor, back mountain and the west area is the yard recreational area for emperor and his concubines. The corridor from south foothill of Longjiaoti to north bank of Kunming Lake is like a colored ribbon, which connects many scenic spots together. It not only connects mountains and lakes, but also adds interest to the yard. It's really a wonderful masterpiece. Long corridor is built in 1750, later ruined by Anglo-French Allied forces, rebuilt in 1886. It has a length of 728 meters and 273 rooms. East from Yaoyue Gate and west to Shizhang Prelim, there are 4 prelims in the corridor, which represents the 4 seasons read separately. These prelims not only have the function of point of view, but also supporting the long corridor. They are next to mountain and lake. They take the Paiyun Hall as the center, and unfold symmetrically to the east and west. They connect the architecture before Longjiaoti Hill with each other. Along the corridor, they are displayed many architectural landscapes. Long corridor is not only exquisite in architecture, but also enjoys a high reputation with its gorgeous colored drawing. It is said that Emperor Qianlong was reluctant to leave the scenery of south. Therefore, he sent painters to south to draw pictures. Then the pictures drew the scenery and characters of the classical Chinese literature, as well as the stories on the corridor. Thus, a world-famous art corridor is formed. The painting on the corridor belongs to Suzhou-style decorating painting, and it is the decorating art in the wood architecture history. Its main character is that it does not have settled structure. It wholly depends on the painter. The same theme can be created into different pictures. It is only one of the most precious artworks in the garden. Now, there exist more than 14,000 gorgeous colored paintings on the corridor. In 1990, the long corridor was judged to be the world's longest gallery by Guinness World Records, as the specific architectural style and colorful painting. The gorgeous Summer Palace reflects the high level of China's architectural art. You can see lush trees and winding mountain paths when walking literally under the Longjiaoti Hill. The Tingli Museum on the south foothill of Longjiaoti Hill is a place built by Emperor Qianlong for his mother to see play. A 2-layer platform is inside it. Before Dehe stage platform was built, Emperor Dowager Cixi often see play here. After New China was founded, Tingli Restaurant was designated as the reception place especially for chiefs and foreign distinguished guests. It has received many celebrities, such as English Queen Elizabeth and United States Secretary George Shultz. It has become China's famous palace cuisine restaurant. Tingli Museum is at a distance from Long Corridor, facing the rippling Kunming Lake, leaning against the famous building touring painting of Jade Hill. Rounded with bamboos, the scenery is so pleasant. Architecture of Jade Hill is rarely similar with each other, different from roof deliberate to wall. All the roof models of Asian architecture can be found in the garden. The touring painting on the north hillside of Tingli Museum is an important site of architecture in Jade Hill. There is a two-layer preline in the middle, a white stone arch and a temple at back. Corridors connect architectures with each other. Touring in painting is located in the middle of the hill, so its architecture form is various. Building, preline, and corridor are separately built in different contour lines. Seen from distance, in the green forest, a set of architecture are covered with colorful glazed tiles. The architecture of touring in painting is built leaning against a mountain and open-sided. It got the name because that it is as if you are in painting when seeing the beautiful scene along the corridor. Emperor Qianlong had written a poem to praise this place. Formerly, the Qinghua Preline is the 500-acre town in the Qing period, written down by Anglo-French Allied forces in 1860. At present, there exist some remains such as octagonal pool, white marble stone bridge, and so on. Now, the foyer is developed to an exhibition area, and more than 100 photographs of summer palace have been displayed. It greatly makes up the shortage of research materials to the ruined Qing epoch. It has great historical significance for people today to further understand the value of summer palace. Jade Hill, which is one part of Yan Mountain, is the main body of the garden. The south hillside of Jade Hill is next to Kunming Lake. The mountain and lake make up an open, natural environment. Lakes, hills, islands, and the scene outside the garden form a beautiful scroll painting. Lots of buildings distribute here. The building complex around Tower of Buddhist Incense is a complex which has the most complete architectural layout and form. Preline, corridor, bridge, and tablets mix the garden, temple, and palace together. The Yiheyuan Memorial Archway next to Kunming Lake is the starting point of the central complex of Jade Hill. From the memorial archway to mountaintop, a rising axis is formed. The architectural layout fully reflects the heavens stated in the Buddhist scriptures and feudal thought. It is one of the Imperial Garden characteristics in ancient China. Clouds Prelim, located in the center of the complex, is built on the base of the Grand Hall in Qing Park. Prolonged Life Temple was built by Emperor Qianlong to celebrate her mother's 60th birthday. Ruled down by Anglo-French led forces and rebuilt on its ruins in 1886. Emperor Doge Cixi renamed it to Clouds Prelim, and from then on it became a place especially for Cixi's birthday celebration. The name was selected from a poem. Its meaning is that immortal is going to appear in the clouds. The main region of Clouds Prelim is decorated with yellow glazed tiles. After New China was built, the Clouds Prelim was developed as an exhibition room. At present, exhibition in said house is the same as Cixi's birthday celebration. The 9 dragon throne and character show displayed in the palace are offered by her servants when Cixi had her 70th birthday. All display in the palace pay attention to etiquette from of the imperial palaces, showing the moral principles and feudal hierarchy. East and west climbing corridor each has 114 stone steps. The steps are next to the mountain. When you stop, you can see the beautiful scenery all around. Dehui Prelim is located in the junction of climbing galleries. Most of the architectural complex built in Emperor Qianlong period was ruled down by Anglo-French led forces in 1860. Many existing architecture was rebuilt in Guangxu period. Dehui Prelim was rebuilt in 1886 on the ruins of Treasure Prelim, which was ruled down by Anglo-French led forces. It is the place where climbers have a rest and Cixi changed her clothes when worshipping Buddha. Dehui Prelim is open and connected with Clouds Prelim. Now there is this Clouds Prelim scenery exhibition inside Prelim. Upon the Clouds Prelim, there is a central building which is next to mountain and face lake. That is the famous Tower of Buddhist Incense. The Tower of Buddhist Incense is 36.44 meters high. It is on the stone stalactite of 20 meters high. It is the center of Summer Palace. The Tower of Buddhist Incense was built by Empress Doge Cixi to worship Buddha. Built in Emperor Qianlong period and burned down in 1860 by Anglo-French allied forces. It was rebuilt the same as in Emperor Guangxu period. It is the biggest project in the Summer Palace. There are 8 huge pillars in the Prelim. The structure is complex and it is a masterpiece of Asian architecture. The copper Guanyin was built in Ming Dynasty with high cultural and artistic value. On the Longevity Hill, you can see the glazed tile roof and red palace wall inside the green trees. Kunming Lake is quite as a mirror. When the boat stands on the lake, there's not a little trace on it. On the peak of Jade Hill, there is the highest architecture named Sea of Wisdom Temple. The word Sea of Wisdom is from the Buddhist language to celebrate the wisdom of Buddha vast like sea, built in Emperor Qianlong period. Though it is like wooden architecture, in fact, it is not made of wood but stone. Therefore, it is called a palace without girdle. Moreover, the Buddha of Infinitude is divinized in it, so it is now so called a Palace of Infinitude. The roof and painting of the building is decorated with the colorful glaze. The main color is yellow and green. The roof is magnificent, covered with some purple or blue glazed tiles. More than 1,000 Buddha of Infinitude are the most distinctive one in the temple. The Buddha of Infinitude and the drawers inside the temple are all the remains of Emperor Qianlong period. Many magnificent or elegant courtyards and buildings are displayed in Tower of Buddhist Incense Complex. On its east side are the rotating wheel stone and Kunming Lake City in Jade Hill. On its west side are Wufeng Temple and Copper Temple. On the back are the Tibetan Buddhism architecture, Big Fostate, and the multicolored glazed trail tower. It is the centralized exhibition of Chinese ancient gardening. Kunming Lake in Summer Palace is the biggest lake in the Imperial Gardens of Qing Dynasty. The streams of Kunming Lake follow from the Jiehu Bridge to the Interest Garden on the east of Jade Hill along the north slope of Jade Hill. The engineer dexterously makes use of the constrained environment to make a wonderful landscape. A charming landscape is formed with mountain, lake, bridge, and stream. Suzhou Street is formerly the folk marketing street in Palace, built imitating the south landscape in the Emperor Qianlong period. It is the water street especially for the emperor and empress to visit. Burned down by Anglo-French Allied forces in 1860 and rebuilt on the base of its remains in 1990. The Suzhou Street is more than 300 meters long. The river is at the street and the bank is at the market. There are cafes, banks, drugstores, pawn shops, and silk stores along the bank. All the shop assistants are acted by eunuchs and maids of honor. Their assistants will do business when emperor and his concubines come to the street to buy things. This is like a folk temple fire reflecting a different kind of life in palace, also reflecting the commercial atmosphere of South China in 18th century. Visitors can buy things along the bank or on boat, and can enjoy the interest of touring in ancient times. Suzhou Street is a historical site and a specific natural site. It is an exquisite street inside the palace, served as a foil to the elegance of the back lake, centrally reflecting the mountain and forest in city. And the architecture in water on outer side is echoing to the landscape along Jade Hill. It is as if in a maze when you are boating on the back lake. Suzhou Street has been a famous elegant photoscape in the garden. Wholly different from the gorgeous architecture of the front, the landscape of Bike Mountain is in the dark shadow of green trees. Yinghui City Gate is one of 6 big city gates of Summer Palace, built in Emperor Qianlong period. Yinghui City Gate was carved on stele of the east and Yiheyuan is carved on stele of the west. Yinghui City Gate is equal to the Tongyun City Gate and all the land gates of Suzhou Street. You can get to the Shanling Hall past the Yinghui City Gate. Shanling Hall is an elegant hall as an important architecture, built in Emperor Qianlong period and burned down by Anglo-French-led forces in 1860. It was not rebuilt until the Summer Palace was rebuilt in Emperor Guangxu period. The rebuilding plan was made in 1994 and the rebuilding engineer was finished in 1996. According to its character, now it is used for displaying the precious furniture of palace. The precious furniture contain cultural connotation of gardening. Palace display historical events left of emperor and his concubines. They are full of historical and artistic value. The Summer Palace is the important testimony of Chinese modern history. Yulan Hall is a complex architecture next to Kunming Lake, as well as an important historical relic in the garden. Here is the place where Emperor Guangxu was put under house arrest by Emperor Douzhe Cixi after the reform movement failed in 1898. The Yulan Hall was built in 1750. The main hall Yulan is facing the south and there is service hall on either side of it. The eastern hall can get to the Longevity Palace, and the western hall can get to the Lake Wharf. After reform movement, Empress Douzhe Cixi closed the courtyard and the 2 service halls were isolated from outside. The main hall Yulan displays the throne made of sandal, glass folding screen and emerald vine and so on. Here is also the place where Emperor Guangxu deals with the political things. It is here where Emperor Guangxu met Yuan Shikai and decided to carry out the reform movement. There is a courtyard connecting with Yulan Hall named Yiyuan Embassy. Many books are in it. There is not an expensive exhibition and extensive place but classical flavor. Emperor Guangxu's queen had ever lived here. Chinese gardening art is an important component of Chinese traditional culture. It is well known for its elegance of the East. The purlin and bridge are the typical representatives of Chinese classical architecture. The Prelim ranks as the first of the classical architecture. It is not only the place where tourists enjoy scenery and have a rest, but also an important view in the garden. The Spring Prelim, located on the east side of Kunming Lake, is a place where you can see the whole scenery of the garden. In spring, the sowing of Kunming Lake begins from here. It is early to know the coming of spring. The Spring Prelim is the best sightseeing point to see along Jade Hill, Kunming Lake and Yiheyuan Hill. Many weeping willows are planted near the Spring Prelim. The scenery is quite beautiful when spring comes. The red peach blossom and green weeping willow convey the calming message of spring to people. It is said that Wenchang monarch is a deeply praised god who rules high positions and richness of people. Wenchang Prelim, located in the north of Kunming Lake, is the biggest one of 6 city gates in Summer Palace. There are 2 layers in the main cabinet. The copper Wenchang monarch is present in it. Wenchang Prelim and Suyun Eaves of Long Jade Hill stand for existing cultural relics. Wenchang Yard at the service yard of Wenchang Prelim is the biggest cultural relics exhibition hall of Chinese classical garden. Farther from excitement and noise of the garden here, a big arched gatehouse comes into sight. It is just a wonderful hall which has been inducted in Summer Palace. The 3 characters Wenchang Yard do not break King's specific tolerance and elegance of Imperial Garden. There are 6 project exhibition halls in Wenchang Yard. They display thousands of precious cultural relics of Summer Palace, from Qing Dynasty to late Qing Dynasty. They cover many kinds of Chinese cultural relics handed down from generations, as the specific imperial environment of Summer Palace. These artworks represent the best craft levels of that time. Some palace living goods displayed in the hall have prominent historical value. They are the evidence with authenticity of Chinese imperial culture. Kunming Lake consists of East Dark Area, West Dark Area, and 3 island area in lake. It is open settled in East Dark Area. West Dark Area is built imitating Su Deck of Hangzhou. The 17-arch bridge over East Dyke and South Lake Island is built imitating the famous Lugo Bridge of Beijing, more than 150 meters long, the longest bridge in Imperial Gardens of China. It got the name because that 17 holes are in the bridge. More than 500 stone lines are carved on the bridge and the baluster shaft. There are 4 carved pieces on both ends of the bridge columns. They are masterpieces of the stone carving art of Qing Dynasty. The grand 17-arch bridge reflects on water surface of Kunming Lake as long rainbow. Each of 17-arch prelim has an octagonal prelim named Langru Prelim. It is the biggest surviving prelim of China, covering an area of more than 130 square meters. Formerly, Kunming Lake was called Urban Table Mountain. In Emperor Qianlong period of Qing Dynasty, Emperor Qianlong expanded Urban Table Mountain imitating West Lake and renamed it to Kunming Lake in the name of celebrating Mother's birthday and water conservancy. According to a tourism saying, 3 mountains on the water, South Lake Island, Zaojiangtang Island, and Zhijingge Island were built to symbolize Penglai, Buddhist abbot, and Yingzhou. The South Lake Island is located in the center of Kunming Lake. It is connected with Langru Perling on east deck through 17-arch bridge. Island Bridge and Perling join together to be a complete picture, echoing to the longevity hill. There are Hanxu Hao, spiritual ring temple, Jianyuan Hao, and the moon shadow building on the island. The spiritual ring temple is a place to play for ring. It is a formerly called moist temple, later renamed to spiritual ring temple because it rained after praying here. In Emperor Guangxu period, Cixi entered the garden on boat. She got off boat on the wharf and entered the temple to burn gel sticks. Then she got on boat to her resting place Happy Longevity Hill. Hanxu Temple's predecessor is a 3-layer cabinet built in Emperor Qianlong period, Watching-toed cabinet. It was changed to a cabinet of 1 layer in Emperor Jiaqing period. It is an excellent place for Emperor and his queen to enjoy the glorious full moon in summer and autumn. Emperor Qianlong and Emperor Dowager Cixi had revealed navy perform here. The whole square of Kunming Lake is 220 acres, which accounts for 3/4 of total area of Summer Palace. Average water depth is 1.5 meters. The deepest place reaches more than 3 meters, the first large natural and artificial reservoir in Beijing. It has nice view with beautiful lakes and islands. You can see boats coming and going in great number on lake. When the boat sails to the lake center, visitors can see the green trees and a group of cabinets when looking back to the scenic area before Longevity Hill. The entire scenic area takes tower of Buddhist incense at the center. Around the architecture distributed symmetrically and the style is very grand. Shimmering Lake, winding dyke islands of strewn at random, as well as different kinds of architecture loomed in lake scenery, offer a stunning view with water as its main body. As the island is isolated from the dike, the lake has different levels to avoid tedium. The beautiful Spring Hill far away from the garden and Jade Spring Tower shadow on mountain peak come into visitor sight one after another. Landscape outside garden as well as lakes and mountains inside blend into one harmonious theme. It is like an ink landscape painting. Color strongly but not breaking elegance. There are green trees and dark shadow on back of lake. It presents beauty of the south and makes people forget everything when watching the scenery. West scenery spot of Longevity Hill is a place with typical Jiangnan water village characteristics in Qing Garden period. Most of the landscape was not recovered as insufficient funds when rebuilding the Summer Palace. Qingyan Boat is the most important reserving scenery spot in this scenery area. It is formerly called Stone Boat, built in 1756. The boat body is made of huge carved stone and is 36 meters long. It is China's existing largest stone boat of ancient times. Originally, there is a Chinese-style cabin but later burnt down by Anglo-French and Allied forces. Reconstructed to foreign-style cabin in 1893. It appears to be exquisite and luxurious with roof decorated with brick carving. Summer Palace is very beautiful and elegant, different from Palace Museum's superiority. highly incarnating the roof made by men, but just like given by God. The buildings here are all high and low scattered near mountain and water, hiding in whole trees containing the beauty of cultural relics. Imagine that ferries travel between green lotus, moon shadow lying through slim bamboos, and rosy clouds lighting the 17-yard spring. It is a beautiful picture in dream. Walking on the corridor as if walking in the time tunnel and flying in the open space. Waters facing with buildings and gardens. All of these are very romantic. After liberation of China, Summer Palace was reported to be the first group of important heritage site and state protection. In 1998, Summer Palace was put in the World Heritage List by UNESCO, as its rich historical and cultural heritage and beautiful natural environment landscape.